Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers and Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and I'm here today to show you the trick to printing on envelopes. Now, this is part of the JJ Tips, Tricks, Hacks 23 collaboration that's been put together by RachandBellas Crafts. Below the video, you'll see one Linktree link, and that will take you to a page that shows you a link to every single one of the videos for this month. There's going to be one video a day from a wonderful creator, and you want to go visit each one of their videos and like and comment on the video, and that helps boost their channel a little bit, and that way you're kind of saying thank you to them for making their videos for you. So the thing about printing on envelopes is simple, but a lot of people don't try it because they're not sure how to get everything to come out the right way. So let's see if we can do it here. This is a simple Dollar Tree envelope. I recommend you do one that's got a long flap and not just the short flap, unless you're going to stick it on the edge of the paper as a flip out like this where you don't see it. And also, depending on what side of the paper you're going to put it on, that depends on which way you print it on the envelope, because you don't want your deer to be upside down. Okay? And I chose this picture because it was directional and one-sided, and that way it would be easier for me to show you how to do it. Now, the first thing you want to do is, the back side of this, I'm going to print a non-directional paper. There's no text. There's no anything. And that's just going to make your life easier when you first start out. Once you get the hang of it, then, you know, you can put anything you want on the back. You could even put a copy of this on the back, focusing on this side, so it would look like the image wraps around. We're not going to do that today because that's a little bit more than what we want to do. So with the one that has the picture on it, when it comes out of the printer, then you want to mark the right-hand side that came out. All right, so that's going to be your lower right-hand side. You can take a pencil and make a little mark on it. I just take a Sharpie and make a little mark on it. And because you'll notice, to work with it, we're going to turn it this way. And it's very easy to get it turned around in your head as to which way you need to flip it over and feed it back through your printer to get the image on your envelope to come out right side up. So I'm going to pretend like I'm going to hook it on this side of the paper. So I'm going to use the envelope in this direction. Now, the first thing you want to do is open the envelope, because you want to make sure that you print on the flap as a continuation of this picture. Then when you flip it over and you print on it, then this part will be printed on as well. If you're just going to use it as a clip-on and clip it on your page as something pretty, then both sides are printed on. You may want to, it will print right over this glue, but it does stay a little bit shiny, so you may want to trim that off. It's up to you. That would make this awful short, just so you know. So it's all up to you what you want to do. And you also want to use, I don't know if I just said this or not, one that's got a big flap on it that leaves a big pocket this way, so it's easy to get something in and out if you're going to stick it to the page. Okay, so we're going to do it this way. So that means we want to put our glue, and the glue we use is called repositionable dots. Now, these are easy dots, repositionable, and they're made by Scrapbook Adhesives, and you can get them on Amazon. It's about $8 for a great big roll. I think it's 40 feet of them. And the trick to these, other than restickable, you know, stick and stick again, or some of those others, is you can't take them off the envelope once you put them on. It allows you to stick it and restick it, but you can't flip it over and print on the other side because it still has the stick and restick glue on it. Okay, so we want to put the dots on this side. And these come right off, and I'll show you that once we get done. You want to get along the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure it's going to hold the edge down. Put it right over the glue, doesn't matter. Then we want to, this is the part where you want to figure out which way you want to go. Now, with this one, I wouldn't be able to do it this way because I wouldn't be able to put it back through the printer. So this one's going to have to go this way. So we're going to line it up. I leave the border on. It's easier to line it up. This is printed fit to page. If this was a European sized image, if you got it from someone from the UK, for example, and it has the wider borders, then don't select print to page, fit to page. Just print it out straight with the borders. That way the image doesn't get stretched out. So we want to make sure to get his antler. So let's stick it on here. As straight as possible. Okay, and then now I'm going to put it in my printer and I'm going to flip it over because printers print on the bottom side of the paper. So you can't just stick it back in this way. It'll just print another deer on the back side. So you're going to want to flip it over and you're going to want to put it back in the printer this way so that this comes out with your mark in the same spot. Okay? All right, I'm going to put you on pause for just a second and I'm going to stick this puppy in the printer. Okay, so it came out. And a couple things I want to tell you that I forgot to tell you is just use plain typewriter paper. You don't want to use thick paper and then stick an envelope on top of that. It'll just make it harder to feed through. Make sure that the leading edge, or the edge that's going to go in first, is definitely stuck down really well so it doesn't catch when it gets fed through. So now you can hardly tell where the envelope is, and that means we've done it correctly. So let's just take it off the paper. You'll see that this is darker. It's been printed twice. Always print the picture out. I pulled it off and wrinkled it. Okay. And we're going to flip it over and we're going to take the dots off. You just rub them with your finger and they come right off. Now these are little balls of glue, so you don't want to rub it off onto your floor because it'll stick on your floor. You definitely want to make sure you don't get it on the other side of the envelope when you're getting it off, so it'll leave little sticky spots. And you also want to make sure you get every single little dot off of this side, because wherever there's a dot, there won't be ink when you run it back through. Okay? So you definitely want to make sure and do that. And it may take you a minute to get this done and get it done properly, but I'm here to tell you, you definitely want to get it done the right way, or you're going to be sorry when you print the other side out. Because then you'll have to do your beautiful deer all over again. It really is a pretty image. Wish I could remember where it came from. And the more you roll this, it rolls up in a little ball, and you can take the bigger ball and grab, you know, the littler pieces, and you get a bigger and bigger piece that you can just pick up and take off your surface. And it just takes, you do have to press down a little bit firm to get them off, but not very, very firm. So if you have a thin envelope like this Dollar Tree envelope, then you're going to want to kind of hold it so that you don't wrinkle the envelope up, you know, make a big crinkle in it by rubbing this off. So I really like this method of doing this, and I don't remember where I saw it, and I had to work with it a little bit. Just get some junk envelopes. You can try it out on, you can practice on junk envelopes that have, you know, like return addresses and stuff on them that you're not going to use, just to practice getting them right side up on both sides. You can also do this on an envelope with a window. So if you have blank envelopes that have windows on them, like a business envelope, then you can do the same method. You're just going to have to wipe the ink off of the window itself. I've heard of the ink sticking on the window if you let it dry for like a day and don't touch it. Once you touch it, you've smeared it and you have to wipe it off. I've never had it dry, but that doesn't mean it won't. Now we're going to put the stickies on this side, and we're going to stick it down to here, and as you can see, it won't matter where we stick it or what direction. Yay. And that's the easiest way to do it. You can always put a pocket or something on the back, you know, to jazz it up. Piece of ephemera. Some lace. Now, did you see what I just did? I just put the dots on the side I want to print on instead of the side with the deer. So I'm talking and doing at the same time. So it's easy to get turned around. You just want to try to catch yourself before it's too late and before you put too many dots on. This is the side we just took them off of. So anyway, I think this is fun. It makes a really pretty addition to your journal, and it also isn't thick, so you don't have to worry about the thickness unless you add thick stuff to it. But you don't have to worry about it if you don't want bulk. So let's try that again. If you're worried about the image on this side and the little dots, occasionally the little dot will pull up a little spot of ink. I've had that happen. Then do the back side first. So now we're just going to stick this down. We're going to stick it down anywhere. It doesn't actually even matter if it's straight. The main thing is that this side is stuck down, so that it doesn't, the reason I keep doing this is I want to make sure there's not any dots of glue on here at all, especially since I did it twice. Okay. I'm going to go pop this in the printer. This will be easy, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we've got this side printed out, and it looks pretty. Now, you'll notice it printed right over the sticky, so there's no problem there. Personally, I would just leave this flap on the way it is. So once again, be careful. You don't want to wrinkle up your envelope. So just hold on to your envelope and pull the paper away. You can even just run it around. And that looks like a spot, but it's in the print. Okay, now I'm just going to take the dots off this side. And it does look like I didn't let it dry enough. You can just put some lace on that. Be careful taking the dots off. Occasionally it does that. I'm not sure why. The only thing I can think of is that the envelope wasn't completely dry when I put the dots on. But it isn't enough that I would call it a fail. You know what I mean? I would still use it. It's not very much at all. A few little dots. Little pixels. And that's the beauty of using the backside without text or anything. If you do have text or another picture, just make sure that when you put the envelope down, the envelope is facing the right direction. If you've marked your paper, because if your second one has an image, you're going to mark it when it comes out of the printer, just like we did the one with the deer, so that we could feed it back in the right way. And that way you can do the same thing. You can feed it back in the right way. Okay, just got a little bit more glue to take off here. And it may be that I stuck it down too hard because that was the leading edge. Get her a little ball of glue here. It doesn't get stuck on the carpet. It is glue. I don't want it stuck on my paper either. Come here. Okay, so now we have our envelope. Here's the front. Very, very pretty. And then here's the back. So like I said, you could use it, little pieces of glue still from the glass. You can use this as a flap. Let's say this is your paper or your page. This is printed and it's very pretty. So you could actually glue it down like this. Sorry about that. I have no idea why my tablet, my Fire tablet, does that, and it's completely turned off. I have no idea. Anyway, it just kind of loses its mind every once in a while. But anyway, what I was saying is that you can put it down like this. Well, like this. And it would still be pretty. Now, you would have to put washi or something over the glue in that particular case. I would. In this case, I was planning on putting it on the paper like this, so you won't even see the flap anyway. And all you'll see is the deer on this side. You just got to keep wiping it and get all those little pieces of glue off. So anyway, I was going to use it this way. Now, if I had wanted to put the envelope on this side and use it this way, I would not have been able to use that image because there's no way to put the envelope on this way and get that deer. Let me show you. Because it wouldn't fit. You'd have to use this side. You'd have to use the flowers. Then you could put the envelope on like this and get the flowers. Okay? Do you understand what I mean? because this way lines up with this edge, and then the flap is still on the paper. You can't have the flap hanging off the paper. So you would have to use an image that's on the lower right. So whichever side you're going to use it on, the image has to be on the opposite side. And it can be anywhere on the paper. It doesn't have to be in the corner. You know what I mean? That's no biggie. Now, another thing you can do is you can still use this image. It's only been printed on there once. So you could still cut this out and make a nice little piece of stationery for in your journal. Just make sure there'll probably be some dots still stuck on here as well. So just make sure you get those off before you cut it out and use it. And I've done that before. I use, before you cut it out though, print on the back of the page something. And then you won't, then on the back of your little stationery, you'll have something. You can back it with coffee dyed paper. This is fairly dark for typing paper. This image kind of shows through. And the reason for that is I have my printer set on high quality, printing. And that's why it came out so sharp and beautiful. Okay, so I think that's it for this tip or trick or hack. I believe it would be a tip on how to do it. And remember to visit the Linktree link and make sure to watch everyone else's videos and like and comment. And there's also freebies from RachandBella, and there's links to their Facebook group, their Etsy shop, their Ko-Fi shop, and any other links, of theirs will all be on that page, and that Linktree link will be below the video. Okay? All right. Here's your little quickie for you, and this at the end of this video. And I will see you in the next video or video series, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye. Have fun.